The AI race is no longer just about models. That is still the visible story. Benchmark charts, launch events, and competing claims about which system reasons better. But 6 recent signals suggest the real contest is moving into less visible territory. Cloud distribution, edge hardware, robotics funding, chip policy, warehouse capacity, and national security law. No single development proves a unified trend on its own. Read together, though, they point to a shift. AI advantage is becoming a full-stack industrial contest, and Asia sits close to the center of nearly every layer. Start with the model layer, because it is still advancing. Alibaba has made its Qwen 3.8 Max model generally available through Alibaba Cloud Model Studio. This is a mixture of experts model with 2.4 trillion parameters, positioned for long-horizon coding tasks and office productivity work. The significance is not just the model release itself, but the system it is being released into. Alibaba is not simply publishing a frontier-scale model. It is connecting that capability directly to its cloud platform, developer tools, and enterprise workflows. That integration looks like the strategic move. It suggests Chinese platforms are still pursuing large-scale AI seriously, while also trying to turn model capability into distribution and commercial reach. There are important limits to what this release tells us. It does not establish parity with leading Western models, and it does not reveal training costs or the underlying economics. But it does confirm that China's model ecosystem remains active, well-resourced, and strategically engaged. The competition at the model layer has not paused. It is now more tightly linked to the cloud channels that can deliver it at scale. From there, the story moves from centralized cloud models to a more distributed architecture, edge AI infrastructure. In Singapore, Acrab has closed a $130 million Series B round led by Vertex Ventures, bringing its total funding past $350 million. The capital is aimed at commercializing Acrab's AgentBox platform, built around its GCAS-LAX1 system, which combines custom hardware and software to push AI processing closer to where data is generated, instead of sending everything back to centralized cloud servers. That makes this more than a venture funding headline. It is a capital flow signal. Investors appear willing to make larger, harder bets on full-stack AI infrastructure coming out of Southeast Asia, not just on software layers built on top of existing cloud platforms. At the same time, the execution risk is substantial and should stay in view. The available reporting does not name customers, confirm manufacturing partners, specify production scale, or provide independent performance benchmarks. So this block is directional rather than conclusive. It suggests AI deployment may be expanding beyond cloud-only models into local and edge environments, and that Singapore capital is willing to fund that shift before broad validation is visible. That same willingness to back early physical systems appears again in China, this time in embodied AI. DISCOVER Robotics and PokeBot have each closed funding rounds exceeding $100 million. These are serious financings into robotics and physical AI systems, before commercial maturity has been clearly demonstrated. It is worth separating what these rounds show from what they do not. They are evidence of investor appetite, not evidence of commercial success. Embodied AI is difficult because it requires more than a capable model. It requires that model to work with robotics, hardware, sensors, embedded compute, systems integration, and a manufacturing supply chain that can eventually produce physical units at scale. China's deep manufacturing base and electronics ecosystem may make investors more comfortable backing this category earlier than they might elsewhere, because the industrial path to scaling a product already exists domestically. But that remains a strategic thesis, not a proven outcome. Nothing in the available reporting establishes product maturity, real-world deployment at scale, or a defensible technical lead over rivals. The important signal is that capital is moving toward physical AI before the category is settled. The next layer is public policy, and it matters because industrial capacity does not expand on private capital alone. In the United States, there is bipartisan momentum, including support from Senate Finance Committee leadership, to extend and expand the Section 48D Advanced Manufacturing Investment Credit beyond its scheduled 2026 expiration. This is the tax credit that underpins semiconductor fabrication investment. Why does that matter for Asia? Because semiconductors are a long-cycle industry. Fabs take years to build, and companies need policy predictability before committing tens of billions of dollars. Much of the world's advanced semiconductor capacity remains anchored in Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, and China, with dense supplier ecosystems around them. A stronger or longer-lasting U.S. tax credit would not erase that geography, but it could alter the margins. It could influence where new capacity is sited, where suppliers choose to expand, and how aggressively regions compete for the next wave of fabrication investment. The caveat is obvious and important. This is still a legislative push, not a passed law. The final design of any extension, the probability of passage, and the practical effect on specific companies all remain uncertain. Policy incentives, however, mean little if the physical system needed to execute them is under strain. That brings us to a quieter constraint: logistics. U.S. industrial logistics demand reportedly hit a 4-year high in the second quarter of 2026. Driven partly by e-commerce, partly by data center construction, partly by defense activity, and partly by high-tech supply chains rebuilding inventories after earlier disruptions. Warehouses and distribution hubs are not usually framed as part of the AI story, but they are part of its physical base. They hold servers awaiting installation, components staged for data center builds, and inventory buffers for electronics manufacturing. This is only a U.S. data point, and it does not prove that Asia faces the same tightness. But it is a useful watch point. If similar logistics pressure appears in Asian markets linked to semiconductor production, electronics manufacturing, or data center expansion, it could become a real constraint on how quickly infrastructure plans become operating capacity. In an industrial AI race, bottlenecks do not have to be glamorous to matter. The final signal is governance. In Italy, the Parliamentary Committee for the Security of the Republic has added a dedicated chapter on artificial intelligence and cybersecurity to its oversight framework. That formally moves AI into the orbit of national security policy, rather than treating it only as an innovation or economic issue. That shift matters because security institutions ask different questions. Not only whether a system is capable, but who controls it, where it is hosted, what cyber risks it introduces, and how it enters public sector procurement. For Asia, the connection is indirect but real. AI hardware and infrastructure supply chains run deeply through Asian manufacturers and cloud providers. As more governments view AI through a security lens, questions of dependency and sourcing may become more prominent. Nothing here confirms new restrictions, named vendors, or procurement rule changes. It is better understood as an early structural signal than as a policy outcome. Taken together, these 6 developments form a layered map of where the AI contest is heading. Alibaba shows that the model race continues, but increasingly through cloud distribution and enterprise integration. Acrab shows capital moving toward edge AI infrastructure in Singapore, even before broad commercial proof is visible. The funding rounds for DISCOVER Robotics and PokeBot show investor conviction in physical AI systems ahead of maturity. The U.S. tax credit debate shows semiconductor fabrication remains a contested strategic asset that depends on political commitment as much as market demand. The logistics data shows that even ambitious AI infrastructure plans still rely on mundane physical capacity. And Italy's oversight shift shows AI is increasingly being judged through a security and dependency lens. For investors, the implication is straightforward. AI should be treated less as a software cycle and more as an industrial system. That means watching not only model launches, but also enterprise uptake of cloud-based models, commercial validation for edge deployments, deployment milestones in robotics, legislative follow-through on chip incentives, logistics conditions across technology-linked corridors, and whether security oversight starts to shape procurement choices. The next phase of AI competition may still be discussed in terms of intelligence, but much of the value and much of the risk now sits in the supporting layers: silicon, edge devices, robotics hardware, logistics capacity, and compliance-sensitive infrastructure. That is where strategic advantage is more likely to be built, defended, and contested.